Hello YouTubers, Camille here from KR Defense Firearms Training, and today I've prepared a quick video to share some tips and tricks I use to clean my handguns at home. As a pistol instructor and competitive shooter, I clean my firearms pretty often. I actually enjoy cleaning guns, but I definitely have other activities that I would rather spend my precious free time doing. Over the years, I've come up with an efficient and effective method for cleaning handguns that utilizes a few simple tools and materials and gets my guns perfectly clean, lubed, and competition ready in just a few minutes' time. My preferred tools of the trade include a tech mat, some cheap nylon brushes and scrapers, a simple paintbrush, a steel punch, a 9mm bore snake, some Hops lint-free patches, and frog lube solvent and CLP in both liquid and paste forms. Most of the techniques I'll show you will work with other lubricants and cleaning materials, so stay tuned and you still might pick up a few useful tips. The most important tip I can give you, please unload your gun before you start cleaning it. Remove the slide from the frame, then remove any accessories from the frame rails. Let's start with the frame. The first thing I do is take a few patches and wipe out the gross debris using my fingers. I'll use a nylon brush to drive the patches into all the nooks and crannies. This technique gets a lot more dirt out more quickly and keeps my brushes cleaner for a longer period of time. It's important to get all the dirt out of the areas where metal rubs against metal, such as the rails and all the trigger and sear components. If the gun is really filthy, I'll follow this step up with patches soaked with a little bit of the frog lube solvent, then wipe everything dry with clean patches. For the most part though, the frog lube CLP does a really great job of keeping gunpowder residue from sticking to the metal, enabling me to simply wipe it off without much effort. It's important to use the lint-free patches so that the patch material doesn't leave any fuzz or strands behind while you're scrubbing. Once the patches come up looking pretty clean, I'll use the brush by itself to get into the smaller nooks and crannies that my patches can't get into. By this point, there will be very little dirt remaining on the surfaces, so the brush will not accumulate a lot of dirt. Remove the recoil spring from the slide assembly. Force the patches into the slide grooves using the nylon brush and try to get as much dirt out as possible from all the slide surfaces. This particular Glock 19 has a compensator attached to the barrel with Loctited screws. I'm going to leave the barrel in the slide because I don't feel like taking the compensator off each time. I can still complete a thorough cleaning by just moving the barrel back and forth inside the slide as I move the patches around it. If you don't have a compensator attached to your barrel, go ahead and remove the barrel and clean the barrel and slide separately. Keep scrubbing all surfaces on the slide with patches until they come up mostly clean. One of the areas that accumulates a lot of dirt is the breech face, so it's important to give that area some special attention and keep it clean. You can use a plastic scraper to push the patches into areas that are difficult to get into. This barrel's titanium nitride coating both looks cool and helps you to visualize dirt, making cleaning that much easier. Clean the barrel's feed ramp really well, as this contributes a lot to reliability. With the skinny end of my brush, I'll push a clean patch down the barrel to get the majority of the dirt out, to limit how much dirt accumulates on my bore snake over time. In my experience, the compensator doesn't get super dirty, but I still try to brush it out every once in a while to make sure there's nothing accumulating in there. Brush the chamber end of the barrel really well, as gunpowder tends to accumulate there. Give the breech face a thorough brushing as well, and use the skinny bristle end to clean out the space under the extractor. You can use a metal punch to gently scrape loose any heavy powder buildup on the barrel or the breech face, and wipe it clean with patches. The titanium nitride finish on this barrel is pretty resilient to scratches, but if you're worried about scratching your gun's finish, you can use a softer punch, such as brass. I really like the bore snakes because they combine many barrel cleaning steps in just one pull. The 9mm bore snake has a 35 imprinted on the brass end to indicate 35 caliber. Pull the bore snake through in the same direction that the bullet travels, about 2 to 3 times, and the barrel will start looking good as new. Of course, it is a lot easier to perform this step if you are able to remove the barrel beforehand. You can inspect the bore by looking through the chamber end while pointing the barrel at something white or a soft overhead light source. This one looks good after 2 passes, so I'll move right along. Every now and then, I'll remove and clean the striker assembly just because it's pretty easy to do on Glock pistols, and so I can inspect it for wear. I'll wipe the spring off to ensure that the striker can move freely, and then I'll check the striker pin itself for any evidence of damage or cracks. Once all the dirt has been removed from the frame and the slide, it's time to apply lubricant. The easiest way to avoid over-lubricating your pistol, no matter what lubricant you use, is to apply it with a paintbrush. I'll gently lubricate the spring and housing, but not the striker itself, since I don't want lubricant to make contact with the cartridges. Now you can reinstall the striker assembly and the slide cover plate. The most important parts on a handgun to apply lubricant to are the parts that rub together, and avoid any parts that will make contact with the cartridges or on the frame where you grip the handgun. You can add a light coating of frog lube on all other surfaces to keep gunpowder from sticking to them and to make cleaning easier later. I like to use frog lube for a number of reasons. It's available in different viscosities, so in the summertime I'll use more of the paste, and in the winter I'll use more of the liquid formula. Sometimes I'll mix the two together to get the consistency that I feel is appropriate for the time and the temperature. Frog lube is safe to use on all metals and plastics. It keeps gunpowder residue from sticking to the surface of the metal, and it's made from a type of vegetable oil, so it won't ruin your clothes if it gets on them while you carry the gun. In fact, it's even certified by the USDA as safe to eat, and smells minty fresh, though I haven't gotten hungry enough yet to try it as a snack, and I don't recommend it. Be sure not to get any lubricant inside the barrel or on the breech face. Once you're done lubricating the barrel and the slide, go ahead and reinstall the guide rod. Check for any visible excess lubricant and wipe it off with a clean patch. Next, lubricate the frame. Apply lubricant to the frame rails on each side. You can apply lubricant to any other areas that rub against metal. I like to apply a healthy amount of lubricant to the sear and the disconnector, and all around the trigger components. Once I'm done, I'll operate the slide multiple times and wipe off any excess lubricant that might come out from the top of the barrel and from the rear slide rails. You can apply a thin layer of frog lube on the outside surface of the slide to keep it nice and shiny and to protect the finish from rust, but be sure to wipe it with a few dry patches afterwards to prevent it from becoming too slick to manipulate. Next, I'll wipe the RMR window with a clean dry patch on both sides and look to see if the red dot appears nice and crisp. You can't see that in this video, but I've taken a picture so at least you can see what I'm looking at. Well, gun's all clean and ready to get dirty again. If you liked this video, please click like and subscribe. I'm planning to make more training videos soon. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below or visit my Facebook page at facebook.com/KR Defense.